We took a survey of Facebook groups that dedicated themselves to eBay sales, and we came to the conclusion that after the survey that we should maybe tell people about what you should not buy for eBay or to sell in your antique booths. Avon stuff just doesn't sell. It's not uniform enough. It's all these different sizes and all these different scales and just a hodgepodge of stuff that doesn't really appeal to the normal collector. So I'm afraid this is one of the big ones. Not to buy. Cabbage Patch dolls don't really need an explanation as to why they're not appealing to people who shop on eBay or buy in antique booths. They're just another thing to keep clean, I think, and I don't see the appeal at all, and it amazes me that they ever sold. I do realize that precious moments might be very popular in some parts of the United States and sold really well when it probably came on the market, but boy, I don't see the appeal at all. In this business, you do not want dead inventory. That is stuff that just doesn't sell, nobody wants, and you end up storing it somewhere, and precious moments is that. Crystal pieces are always a gamble, and especially the Wexford crystal. This is what most of the people in the survey mentioned as being a very slow seller. I suppose you could really make money if you pick and choose your items carefully, because some of the crystal really does have value, like Lalique. I think the Madame Alexander dolls are really beautiful, and I like the color of their outfits and the clothing and everything, but dolls in general are just not good sellers. You have to keep them in pristine condition for collectors to want to buy them and collect them, and it's something that's pretty hard to keep from deteriorating over time. Finally, something that might appeal to the males that are watching this video are beer steins. Even the ones made in Germany, the one of a kind, are really not that appealing to a wide range of audiences. And they were overproduced tremendously. They're everywhere, and they are very slow from selling. Delton mugs. Wow. I don't think I could drink a beer out of one of these mugs. I mean, it's just the glaze and the brightness, and it appeals probably to some people to collect these, but I just don't like them. And maybe if they imitated a few people, it would be better than just generic figures. Norman Rockwell was a great American artist, and his stuff that he did with the Saturday Evening Post will live forever. But then I think putting his images on plates is really degrading to his memory. They're difficult to store, and how are you going to display them, and how are you going to put them in a collection that people will like to look at? Bellique ceramics and other milk-colored ceramics, I think, are a tough sell these days. It's just kind of out of style, and it reflects an era that nobody wants to look back on, I guess. Raspberry bears. This is something else that needs to be kept in pristine condition, because collectors, they want the things to stay in perfect condition throughout their lives, and this is hard with stuff like this. Things are just going to look worn after a while, and that makes them not very much of a good collectible if they deteriorate. Frank Coma pottery, to me, I think is pretty appealing. I mean, they really had some good designers, and they really have some outstanding pieces, but it's not a big seller, unfortunately. And I rather like the designs, like I said, but if they don't sell, don't buy them. I really wanted to leave Beanie Babies out of this because I have kind of a bad association. Once I was at my mom's house and I looked in the wrong closet, and there were garbage bags piled from floor to ceiling, all filled with Beanie Babies. And she said, "Oh, I'm going to get rich with these." And oh, it just, I have a bad association with it, and it triggers kind of some weird memories. But I think it goes without saying that these are not something to resell. Maybe the Germans should stick to building machinery and selling cars rather than doing artwork. Some of this is just, they just missed the boat altogether by overproducing and just things that don't work as collect. They're just like the beer steins. They go nowhere with design, and they're very much overproduced. Sometimes Franklin Mint coins are actually really sterling silver or higher, and so those are the ones that you want to look for because at least they're worth the melt value of the silver. But other Franklin Mint stuff is just a waste. I mean, it'll sit on the shelves or in your eBay store forever. Nobody wants it. It's one of those things that was highly promoted, but boy, has no secondary value. Well, now we're getting into the area of just ridiculousness. I mean, these things, I don't think I've ever seen any, but this was one of the things in the survey that people said, don't get into selling because they just don't work. Maybe it's the postage is too high for the size and weight or whatever, but they'll just sit. Well, here we go again with Squishmallows. This is another thing that has to be kept in pristine condition and cleaned, and how are you going to do it? And something that just has to be kept perfect, or it will lose all of its value, and it wouldn't be considered a collectible. Collectibles have to last. They have to last forever. I really love glass. I love the Murano and the stuff from Czechoslovakia and Japan, but boy, it's a tough seller. It really is. I must have 300 pieces of Murano, and it's a slow seller, but I really like it. It's just, some of the ashtrays are great. So we have come to the end of our little analysis of what other people in these Facebook groups feel are stuff, collectibles that just do not sell on eBay or in antique booths. They're going to drag you down, and the worst thing about this business is ending up with a lot of dead inventory, stuff that'll never sell, no matter how hard you try. Thank you for viewing our video.